Hey everyone, we are back for another episode on resurrecting my old 1972 Ford Bronco. So we started this video last night, but it was pretty dark and cold and the weather was not very good. So we're kind of re-showing some of this and some of the work that I've already done. So I got used spark plug wires on. One of them's new actually. But a bunch of them were missing, so thankfully, I got the firing order back there, so I used that as a reference to get them all back to where they needed to go, and started working on some of the wiring, which is what we're going to continue on today. But first, I want to do some repairs on my barn here. So we're going to work on that. I'll get you set up on the time lapse, and we're just going to kind of farmer it together for now. It should work, I think. Well, for my own safety, I only did a few things. It's just my ladder's not tall enough, and I'd rather have somebody help me kind of fix the barn roof, but I don't know, at least I got a little bit more structure, question mark, in there. Back to the Bronco. In the previous video, we got all the interior pulled out, looked at the floors, the structure, all that stuff. Turns out the driver's side floor pan is bad, so that's something we're going to put on the list for eventually we'll get it fixed. Anyway, what I had mentioned in that video was that we would try to get the engine unfroze and see if we could get this thing started, and I got to looking at the wiring, and I think we need to do some wiring repairs. Looks like the mice kind of had a heyday with all this. I didn't do any of this wiring. It was not very good anyway. And I had also, I think, shown that the rabbits, or maybe the rabbits got the wiring too, I don't know. Anyway, something got the wiring, something got the spark plug wires. So that's what we're going to focus on now, is try to get some of this wiring all taken care of under the hood, and possibly on the interior. I'm gonna have to probably try to find a painless wiring harness diagram for this Bronco and see if I can get all that figured out, because if I don't have to replace that harness, I won't. Anyways, let's get to it. I blabbed enough. So a bunch of wires under here have just been eaten up. This, as I've mentioned, is the electronic fuel pump. We're going to be deleting that. Wire for the switch that goes into the dash has also been kind of eaten up. I think we could splice that one and it'd be fine. This orange wire here, this one, it looks to go somewhere over there, and maybe, oh, that goes into the top of the engine. So we'll probably patch this one. And I'm gonna have to redo like several of these wires over here. Plus they were kind of put together with like these screw-on things, which is great, if you're doing electrical wiring in a house. But not so great here, so we'll change some of this, do it properly. Alright, since I save just about everything, as many people in my position would, we're just gonna temporarily reuse the old spark plug wires from my 1972 F100, which that's why we're not in the garage, because it's in the garage. I'm in the process of pulling the transmission out of it so that I can fix the terrible transmission leak that it's got. So we're just gonna do what we need to do here in the barn with terrible lighting and wonderful weather and so on and so forth, I guess. Sheesh. Yes, hello. Knock, 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 barn. All right, too short. Okay, so we worked on the wiring over here on the driver's side, and okay, we got a big wire. I believe that is the oil pressure sending unit, and it is really chunky. It's been eaten up. Probably have to replace a good several inches of it. And I do have some of the correct wires, gauge, size, and color. But we're just gonna, work with what we've got on a lot of it. Eventually, someday, I would like to, do a full restoration, and I don't know, maybe that's what this is gonna turn into. But right now, the goal is to get this thing to where it will start, and I want to get a good idea of where the engine's at. Hopefully that's long enough. Looks like it is. A little bad in right there. All right, well, I think we'll turn this into a time lapse, because this can be kind of boring. And go. was just kind of looking at the wiring harness over here on this side, and it goes all the way in to the passenger compartment. So probably gonna cut this big red wire here and patch it from inside, run a new piece of wire out. Should be fun. Probably have to do that same thing with that purple wire. I think I got enough room on the outside, but we'll keep moving. So it turns out on that big red wire I was showing, it's actually bad, like pretty much all the way up. So I'm just going to run a whole new piece of wire, and this is a power wire, so we'll use the appropriate gauge. I just happen to have this, and we'll eliminate that dumb household wiring setup. Well, I got that one wire fixed, and I'm just kind of looking here. It's just a mess. The way that this thing was kind of wired together. I'm gonna fix it. And just for the record, I'm not a master tech. I'm not ASE certified. I've just been doing things that work for me. I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to all this electrical wiring stuff, but I'm gonna do my best and hope I don't burn it to the ground. Alright, checking back in. Pretty confident that we got all the wiring, at least under the hood, taken care of. I tightened up my negative battery, well, my ground and negative connection there at the firewall. Got everything put back together, loomed, kind of routed the way that I want it to look a little bit better. I'll get a battery hooked up. I gotta hook up the power down at the starter. I'm not sure why that was unhooked, but got a little bit more to do back there. The wires are good enough that I think I can just tape them. They're not, just the plastic is a little, or the rubber coating, whatever you call it, is a little chipped away, but nothing bad enough that I need to splice them. So I'll run some tape there, and then I'll finish running the plastic loom stuff back in. And then I got a few wires I need to figure out where they go. This one here, I'm not sure. It looks like a ground. I'm not sure. Maybe it went right there. That would make sense on why this was loose. And it looks like it fits maybe. No, it doesn't quite fit. Anyways, I got to figure that one out. I got to figure this one out. I think it goes on the battery as well. I just need to chase it. So we're going to say wiring under the hood is good. All is good in the hood. And now I just need to chase all of this wiring here and make sure that it's all good as well. I can't tell if anything's been eaten really. So we'll go from there. So I need to get some more of this plastic loom stuff. some more zip ties, some tape, some supplies. But yeah, I'll check back in later. I may do some more work on the side. I'm not sure. I'm gonna lose daylight pretty soon. I gotta go let my chickens out and do other responsible things. I can't just play around with my toys all day, even though I want to, but we'll go from there. All right, so I honestly don't remember where I left off. I'm on day 3 now of trying to film this particular video. I had a slight moment of, oops, I forgot that you need a starter solenoid, and this one was gone. So that's what my mystery wires were that were just kind of hanging out. Got all that wired up. Got a battery cable from the starter solenoid down to the starter. Show you so that I don't have to look away from the camera. Anyway, yesterday I was chasing a bunch of wires trying to figure some other stuff out. Had to wait for the starter solenoid to come in before I could get it installed. Got a battery in here. So we got the positive battery cable. Oh, another thing that I didn't mention, I put a new key switch tumbler in there. The old one, it worked, but it was real sticky and you had to kind of work it a lot to get it to do the thing that it was supposed to do. So I just opted to throw a new one in for like 15 bucks, not a big deal. All right, we're gonna see sparks. Well, it helps if I put it on correctly. Okay, nothing's catching on fire. Let's tighten it down. Now let's see if anything happens. I don't know, the engine is locked up. I may just turn the key just to make sure. Yep, battery cables are not getting hot. Nothing's getting hot. Gosh, I don't know. Should we see if this thing will try to start her? It's locked up, it may not do nothing. Okay. Turn the key on and something popped. I don't know what that was. Just make sure nothing's on fire. Okay, let's reevaluate here for a moment. Do we have headlights? No. Do we have tail lights? No. Do we have a fuel pump? Oh boy. Well, nothing's working. I'm going to figure it out. Well, famous last words. All of the wiring, I'm 100% confident that it's all correct. Everything that I fixed. Everything that was already done, I can't speak on that. But this thing did run and drive 15 years ago. So I think probably what I'll try to do now is just see if I can get the engine unlocked and see if anything happens, because the solenoid is what's clicking. So I think it's trying to do something, but I don't know. Alright, I've been messing around with this wiring harness, and turns out that the headlight switch wasn't plugged in. So, look at that, we have lights. Got the dimmer switch wired back up properly. So they're not very bright, but they do work, except for the high beam on this side. And we might have some high resistance somewhere because this one's a lot dimmer than that one. But who knows? I'll keep playing around with it. Anyway, that's where we're going to end this video. I don't honestly know how long it is, but we're going to end this video. I'm going to continue working on trying to get the wiring harness situated back underneath the dash, and then get the dash installed and do all that stuff, but I want to do it off camera. I think in the next video we'll try to see if we can get this thing to actually crank and maybe start, but we got to get the engine free first. So that's where we're going to end it. Thank you all for watching, and have a good one.